In this video, we'll explore the Settings menu in Crestron Configure Pro. We'll begin with Crestron Configure Pro on the home page. First, we must select and connect to our system. Click on the Systems button. Since we have previously discovered and added the system, it appears here. Click the system to connect to it. The Settings menu can be reached by clicking Settings in the lower left corner of the screen. If there is a red dot on the gear icon, it indicates there is something in the Settings menu that needs attention. When a Settings menu appears, it will start with the About section. Here, we can see some basic information about this system and modify some of it if needed. Some of the key items would be System Information, Dealer, and Cloud or My Crestron. The Crestron Home Processor version and Configure Pro app version are also displayed. The next item in Settings is Update. We can also see that it has a red circle on it, meaning it needs attention. We see what the current processor software version is. Note the Copy button at the end will allow us to copy that version number to the clipboard. We can also see that Configure Pro is telling us that there is a new version available. Next to the version number, there is an information icon that will take you to the release notes for the new version. Next to that is an Update button that will start the update. Below that is the software release level. Under normal conditions, you will not need to modify this. Below that, we see the Connected Devices section. When we click Manage, Configure Pro will scan the devices that have been added to our system and determine if updates are available. You can then determine which devices you want to update by selecting the device or devices and clicking the Update Selected button. Clicking the Check for Updates button will cause Configure Pro to check for available updates for the devices shown. Each device in the list has a tile. Clicking the eye or information icon on the tile will pull up some detailed information on that device. The information shown will depend on the device. Typically, you will see available software version, the minimum required version, the device model, serial number, and currently loaded software version. The Details section will typically report if the software is current, as well as any online/offline status. The next option under Settings is Users and Passwords. We can select it by clicking on it. Here, we can see and modify the various Crestron Home passwords. First, we see the Admin or Administrator login. By clicking the icon to the right, we can see and change the admin user password. To do this, you will need to supply the current admin user password, then enter the new password twice. Passwords are not normally shown. Clicking the eye icon will show what you have entered. Clicking the Save will store the new password. We have 3 more passwords that need to be set: Advanced User, User Interface, and Common Device. Next to these, the usernames are shown, and you can set or change the passwords. Hovering over the eye or information icon will give a brief description of what each password is used for. Advanced User is used for Cloud Relay and accessing the advanced user functionality on the user interface. You may also enable or disable the advanced user functionality. To enable it, click the toggle button to the right. Configure Pro will ask you for the admin username and password, then the password you want to assign to this functionality. User Interface is for user interface communications with the processor. Setting or changing the password will work similarly to the advanced user password. User interface devices cannot connect to the Crestron Home system if the user interface device password is not set. Common Device is for all connected device communications. Again, setting or changing the password will work similarly to the advanced user password. The user interface and the common device must be set. The next section will show if any IP addresses are blocked from making a connection. This will occur if a connection is attempted several times using an incorrect username or password. The IP address is typically blocked for 1 hour. Usernames can also become locked and will be displayed in the Locked Users section. A username can become blocked if a connection is attempted several times from an IP address using a valid username but an incorrect password. The IP address gets blocked Now, someone from a different IP address, again, tries to connect using the same username and the wrong password several times. The username gets locked. Touch panel pin code is next. You can set a global touch panel pin code that can be used for touch panels. To use this feature, we also need to enable and set the advanced user and password. We will review the time and region section next. Selecting time and region will allow you to select the time zone, date, and time. Additionally, you can set the longitude and latitude for the Crestron home system. These are important to fill in, as Crestron uses all that information when working with astronomical events like sunrise or sunset. The more precise the location, the more accurate Crestron home can be. Below that, we see current times of day that should be defined: morning, day, evening, and night. The next settings general topic is network. Clicking on it will bring up the network page. The first section is the TCP/IP configuration section. You can enable or disable DHCP. When enabled, the network provides the required information to the Crestron home processor. When disabled, you will need to supply the static information for IP address, subnet, default router, and DNS. You can also manually change the host name and domain in either mode. We can also set the use of the processor IP address or host name in IP tables. Below that section, you will see the ports definition. Configure Pro will show you the default ports and allow you to change them if needed. In addition, you can enable the legacy device port, which is needed for some legacy devices, and remote trigger and listen modules. System control is the next category of settings. When clicked, Configure Pro will allow you to set some specific behaviors. You can register to voice control by clicking the Register Voice Control button. You will need to enter the details of the provider and region. The next behavior is the pairing for Apple HomeKit. You can see the pairing status and start the pairing process. Clicking on the Pair HomeKit button will give you instructions on how to start the pairing process. Under Lighting and Keypad, you can set specific behaviors. The Wait for Double Tap function determines if the Crestron home system triggers a double tap button action. You can set the amount of time the Crestron home system waits for the second tap to be counted. Hold time allows you to set how long a button needs to be held to register a press and hold. Multi-tap timeout is the amount of time in hours, minutes, and seconds that a system waits to determine if a double tap button action is performed. The lighting raise and lower rate is the amount of time in seconds over which the Crestron home system raises or lowers the current light level to a recalled scene or discrete level. The BACnet section allows you to enter the BACnet hostname, port, and host object ID. The REST API token may be copied or updated here. The backup and restore section is next. Here, we can trigger a backup of the current active configuration, backup the current configuration as golden, and backup the logs to the My Crestron residential monitoring service. Additionally, we can import a deploy code. In order to do this, the Crestron home processor must be updated to the current version. Earlier in this video, we noted that our processor needed an update. Once we perform the update, we will be able to enter a deploy code here. Under Restore Configurations, we will be able to browse the backed up configurations stored on the RMS by clicking the right arrow. You will see the date and time followed by a green check that tells us that that configuration is compatible with the current version of Crestron Home installed on the processor. Click the download link at the far right to download and install the saved configuration. You will be prompted to confirm before any action is taken. This brings us to the last General Settings tab, Diagnostics. Share Logs will share an archived copy of the logs via various methods. You can set the application log level to one of 6 preset levels. Under Device Logs, we can select any of the stored logs to download. Clicking the download link will allow you to select where on your computer we want to save that file. The last section is Reboot and Reset. All actions will ask for confirmation before they are taken. You can reboot, reset to factory default, or reset to factory default and erase backups. The info buttons next to each option will give us additional information. That concludes the general settings. The last two items in settings are a link to the help files for Configure Pro and the privacy section that has links to the privacy statements, third-party integration, and the ability to turn on or off information collection. For more information on these items, see the help files or follow the links to the privacy statement. This completes this video on settings in Crestron Configure Pro.